Hello class, these are our 1-4 notes for Algebra 1. We're looking at distribution types. So we have been graphing, histograms, we've been graphing box plots, dot plots, but now we're going to really talk about the shape of that distribution. So the first thing we want to talk about is a symmetric distribution. So if we have symmetric, what it means is that our mean and our median are the same. So mean and median are the same. So remember, the median is the middle. So you line up all your data and you're just identifying the middle number. And then mean is what we think of as an average when we add them all together and divide by how many there are. So the mean and the median will be the same when it's symmetric, and it has a line symmetry. And then I just want to show you what that looks like, just a little picture. So if this is my histogram, it means that the bars, like if this is my middle, my line of symmetry here, then the bars on the right side would kind of reflect over. So you can see like this bar and this bar are equal, this bar and this bar are equal. So it looks symmetrical. So that's symmetric distribution. If it's skewed, one side has more values than the other. So if it's skewed, you could have something like some bars on one side, and then maybe there are just like some little bars on the other side. So most of your data is over here. That's going to be skewed. If we have bell-shaped means most of our data is in the middle. So most of the data is in the middle. So for a bell shape, we want to think of a shape kind of like that. So if I think about that as a bar graph, I'd have a little bar, bigger bar, so they're getting bigger and then smaller again on the other side. It doesn't have to be symmetrical. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. But most of your data is in the middle. When we have a uniform distribution, that's when the data is evenly distributed. And so the way that looks is pretty boring. If this is my bar graph, it would mean that all of my bars are equal height. And that's not a very good distribution, right? We don't want to have all our bars be the same. It doesn't really give us any kind of useful information about that. Ooh, made that really big. Okay, the last kind of graph that we could talk about is bimodal. And a bimodal graph, so remember bi, think about two, think about the word bicycle. So there are two places where data is located. And we don't mean all data, we mean most of the data. So a typical bimodal graph might look something like this, where I've got some big bars over here, and then maybe some little ones in the middle, and then a bunch more over in another spot, kind of like this. So that would be bimodal. So we have a lot of data right here and a lot of data right here. So that's bimodal. The last thing that we did in class then is we looked at just using that vocab. So this one looks kind of symmetric at first. So first we did this as an activity, but then we went back and labeled it. So this one kind of looks like it could be the first one. I can kind of see that nice bell shape on this one, right? So I would definitely say a bell-shaped one. So let's say it's bell-shaped, which we know that that is going to be not symmetrical though, right? Because we've got just one over here, two over here, so it's not quite symmetrical, but it peaks in the middle. We've got the data following that curve. That second one, we've got a lot of data right here, lots of data right here in two places. So we're going to call that one bimodal. And now is this one also symmetric? It could be more than one thing. So we have 1 here, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is also symmetric. So I could have a line of symmetry right through the middle. So it's bimodal and symmetric. So we just want to practice using these words. We're going to be using them all year. The next one, oh man, that one's just a straight across line. We know that's going to be uniform. And the last one, it's kind of a bell, but it's not really a bell because it's off to one side. So that is going to be skewed. All right, so hopefully this helps clear up all these different distribution types so we can use this vocabulary. Make sure that you're asking questions in class.